The second experience was very interesting. Well, it was interesting because I'm not sure exactly where it had taken place. It took place in some kind of room, some kind of room. It was just a room. I do not recall if it was a bedroom or what it was, but the idea was just that it was a room. And within this room, there was all of, well, not all of, but a few of my family members, or the familial members. And there was a man laying in a bed, and he wanted me to lay down with him. And he was like underneath a sheet, and then he was underneath a rug, and then he was like underneath all this stuff. And I remember I kind of sat on the bed and I kind of looked at him, and I kind of like laid down. I had no intention of staying, but I thought, okay, well, let me just humor him, kind of thing. And he ended up being really kind of funny. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to leave now. I kind of wanted to see what was going on with you, and now I'm going to leave. And he became very violent and aggressive. He tried to stab me. He actually did end up stabbing me. But what's very interesting was I didn't bleed. I could perceive, like, there was like a perceivable sensation of getting stabbed, and it didn't really hurt either. I could feel my skin splitting apart and it going in, which is kind of gruesome in its own way, but it didn't hurt really, and I wasn't bleeding. I just more so remember having a fear of getting stabbed, but it didn't really actually have an effect on me. And anyways, I went out into the street and to just kind of get away from him, and he kept trying to stab me, and he was asking me all these questions. Remember, he started asking me all these questions about well, one, he asked me, where are you going? Though that was kind of funny. But he asked me something else, like almost like he was trying to interrogate me. All of a sudden he was trying to interrogate me about different topics. And so he kept trying to stab me and all this stuff. And I remember all of a sudden I had a knife of my own. It appeared in my left hand, or either my left or right hand. No, it was my right hand. And I remember because he kept following me, I told him, I said, leave me alone, basically. That was what I tried to tell him. But he came up to me real close. And so I remember I stabbed him in the throat area, and I kind of like slid it in a way to where I knew it would kind of open his throat, so he couldn't follow me no more. So he'd have to kind of like stop and gasp for air. It was really kind of gruesome. But I remember I had the idea that I did not want to stab him. I did not want it to go that far, but he was relentless, and I had to do something about him, because otherwise, he would have been very what is that word? It's like vindictive, maybe something like that, where they just follow you to no end. They have this kind of revenge attitude, and they just kind of follow you again till they drop dead, basically. So I had to do something about him, and so that was the experience. I thought it was a little interesting.
That's these are very, very good. What you have is very, very good there, and you want to write them down, because you look at the experience in the beginning. So it starts in the personal self. It can be yourself, personal self, or others. And what you were saying was it so that some of your relatives were there? Yeah. Okay. So as you go through the experience, there's a hint. Okay. It's somebody you know. So it's somebody, it's like the old saying, it's like, okay, somebody's sweeping the floor, and it's like, okay, I don't have anywhere to throw this. Where should I put it? Oh, just throw it under the rug. Okay, so we've all done that, right? And so again, the person lying down, I was just curious, was he on his back, his side, his stomach, what?
He was on his back originally. He had some thick black frame glasses, but as he was laying in the bed, he kept shifting over to his left shoulder, and then from his back to his left shoulder. So he was shifting, but at first on his back.
Yeah, see, at first he's there. In other words, when you're on your back, you're grounded. That's the idea, because you're looking straight up, like at the sky. You're grounded. All right. Those people that are on their stomach, they're looking at the earth, and they're usually giggling or whatever. I had some experiences with Obama and his family like that, on mattresses, jumping up and down on their stomach like you would on the bed, like a baby, and giggling and laughing because they're just having a great time in the physical sense. And so he's shifting on his left side, which is his literal. and the dark glasses representing that in the physical sense. So I basically see who it is, but you can figure it out for yourself. But in other words, this person knows certain things, and but he only wants to go so far, and he's afraid, and he's looking for your agreement, Jeremy. And he's somebody you know. So he's looking for your agreement, and the knife is the idea. In other words, he wants to stab you, and he wants to follow you around and nag you because he's all alone. And he wants someone to agree with him, and you didn't want to agree with him. You didn't hurt him. At the last punch, the knife that appeared for you was like the NUUU. And it's almost like you're saying, look, I don't want to hear your nonsense. I'm not going to agree with what you want me to agree to. I'm not going to lay under that carpet and that blanket and whatever and do nothing like you want me to and what you've been doing. Yeah, you have the knowledge, but what are you doing with it? And so you just, it's like you made a statement. I'm with the NUUU. I'm going to keep going. See, you walk out of that personal consciousness, and he's nagging you to try to get you back into that personal consciousness because he's all alone. You know who it is. Yeah, the real side experiences are very interesting, and usually a psychic will interpret them only to the personal point, because that's all they'll know, you see, etc. And they'll have their own take on it, and they do see certain things, but they don't see the real awareness and what's really going on. And see, you're adamant into, staying with the NUUU no matter what another relative says, you see. So again, yeah, very real. And so I went through it too, Jeremy. Family members, friends, girlfriends, whatever. Yeah, they all wanted to stay with their personal life. Have fun. You got nothing. Zero. So until you cross the line to where you're over 50%, 60, 80, 90, eventually 100%, what you're still stuck there, and it takes a while, but as long as you're determined to keep going and to clean this stuff out and all these relationships that mean nothing, you see. So again, he's looking for your agreement. Yeah, and you'll see it in the physical sense. That's what the glasses mean. That's in the physical sense. You know who it is. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you, Duane. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Those are the experiences that I had to share.
Thank you, Jeremy, for being here, and just have fun preparing yourself. Yes, it's a challenge, but just like your experience there, Jeremy, see, you're getting it little by little. It's time to get going, just like what you're doing. It's time to go. But just giving you the hint, that doesn't mean you just run out of the house. No, you prepare yourself, but you got the hint. You're preparing yourself. It's time to go and leave all the old past relatives, all this stuff. Let them go. And as soon as you're down here for a while, 6 months, a year, you'll see the difference. You'll be glad that you cut the cords. Yeah, you gotta, because the personal self, the awareness gets so caught up in the personal self. It seems like it's its own reality, and it's fine, but it's nothing really, because as this creation bubble implodes, just imagine, it's very simple, but the personal self doesn't want to see that. And pretty soon there's nothing but darkness, because it's all gone. And it'll reach that point. Could be tomorrow, next week, 1,000 years, who knows? But it will reach that point because it's already going towards that. And where will you be? You will just be, you'll have your awareness, but you won't know. And will you be able to recognize anything? Will you remember? Probably forget. So yeah, it's very important to pay attention, keep focused, keep that intent, because yeah, most people, they're going to be in that darkness and they're going to start in a new creation bubble as bugs again, whatever. And that's how real it is, because again, no one can wake you up but you. Yeah, we have to face ourselves, and it's like we are the deciders. There are no authorities to look to. The guidance is there, but the reality is we make the decision to wake up and see what's going on. Yeah. So thank you for sharing, because that should help others too. That's why I try to get people to share, because there's so many viewpoints, and from that there are more viewpoints. Because look at the world. You know, look at on Facebook and whatever. Look at all these so-called people that are so nice and they quote this and that and et cetera, et cetera. You know, they quote the Bible, they quote Paul, they quote Rumi, whatever. It all means nothing, because it's awareness. Won't get you anywhere. You'll still be duh. What, pretty words? See, again, we've been rehearsed literally to accept words as the reality. They're not. It's your awareness, and you have to do that on your own, and it's possible. And the boys will work with you until you can start to get it. But you really have to really want to see it, and really have to learn to see it. That's the whole thing. Yeah, we went through the baby brain schools. It's no more literal stuff, no more homework, none of that. Just like your experience, you know. You're still going to do those things in the physical sense. You see, on the real side, you don't need a car. You can fly around. You can do whatever, okay? But here, yeah, you're going to use a car. You're going to use these things. You're going to use all these clunky stuff. That's in the physical sense. But in the real awareness, yes, it's learning to see it more than just what the mind collects. And it's okay. As an example, you, Jeremy, and others, and like Kelsey here, and that you kids coming along very fast because you're paying attention. And so this is where it's very important to constantly look at ways to share with the world, because that's the part to where it's about your awareness opening up so you can share something real. And I don't mean just sharing nice things and whatever. Yeah, I did share up Mac, and we did these things for a while to see if we can contact them. But, you know, they're not listening. So I'm not going to waste my time with them. You know, it's not about being nice and this and that. It's not even about, you know, saving the earth and planting things. It's not about that. It's about awareness, because all this stuff is soon going to be gone. And it won't matter what you planted or what you did. But in the meantime, yes, you still do that. That's not the focus. Yeah, I would promote Rebazar and the Real Guides as much as possible creatively, because that's all about awareness, getting people there to at least see, because it takes a while for people to even recognize. In other words, we're making the introduction. That's what we're doing. We're making the introduction. And so that was my position to take on and accept that I would manage this and show people how to make the introduction to the real guidance, so that people can learn to see what is real and recognize it. And it is not in the words and phrases, but those are needed until a person can have that comparison to really see. And then they will step up and do. It's in the doing. Yeah, it's not in collecting knowledge. And this is where the world, most people are still lost. They think, oh, I know this, I know that, and so on. You know nothing. You know, if you're not focused, if your intent is not on learning to see what's real and standing real with it, then where are you? And that's huge. That's huge, because life's big. It's not self-contained like we always thought it was, or we were told by others. You see, even the old masters and gurus, they're just lip service. They're just giving out pretty words which equal nothing. Makes you feel good thinking that, oh, I feel good, so I'm going to go to a happy place. Good luck, because you're going to go basically to the same place that you follow that knucklehead like Harold and others, and they're all tap line with the lizards. Yeah, and that's what happened to Harold's ex-wife when she went over. She was taken away by the lizards, and she couldn't even see it. But many other people objectively could, and they asked her why. Why did you do it? Why didn't you help us while we're in the physical? Now they got to come back. They got to do it again because they didn't see it, because it's a huge journey, and now is the real nowness, newness, that it's possible. But you got to step up and do it. So again, Jeremy, there's your second experience. The first one and the second one with the relatives and whatever. You decide how you're going to do that, but on the real side, you're doing it. You don't need them. Actually, they need you. And so this is what I tell people sometimes. I bug them. I tell them even when they don't like me, I said, you're lucky that I'm here, because who else you got, that's going to tell you what's real and help you along, because there ain't nobody, because they're all BSers. It doesn't matter how good it sounds. They're all going nowhere. But you decide. It's your life. You can have whatever you want. Have fun.